Alex Albon GENIUS Strategy with one pit stop in Australian GP. The Australian GP was filled with surprises, but it seems like Alex Albon has stolen the show. The Thai driver managed to finish the race with only one pit stop. Yup, you heard that correctly. He changed tires only once throughout the whole race. But how did he manage to drive so long on one set of tires? On tracks where the temperature can be a really serious factor for tire degradation, how did Albon manage to save the tires for such a long time? And is there any chance that we could see this strategy repeating again in the future? Stay with us until the end of this video, as we'll explain how Albon's strategy worked out perfectly well for him. First of all, you need to know that F1 tires are not designed to last throughout the entirety of an F1 race. This is why drivers have to pit in, as mechanics are trying to be as fast as possible in order to lose less time in the pit lane. This enables the drivers and their teams to pursue different tactics on the track, such as pitting earlier in order to gain an advantage on the new tires. There are 3 different tire components for dry weather: soft, medium, and hard, and 2 for wet tracks, intermediate and full wet. The last 2 have different patterns inside them that allow the water to run away from the tire, and therefore the drivers can avoid spinning off the track. F1 makes it mandatory for an F1 driver to change the tires at least one time during a race. There's only one exception, and that's when the track is wet and the drivers are driving on the intermediate or full wet tires. However, that wasn't the case in Australia, as the scorching sun was the biggest enemy of the tires. The more temperature the asphalt on the tracks gains, the bigger the degradation of the tires will be. This only adds to the narrative that Alex Albon is an impressive driver who perfectly understands how to save the tires when he needs them the most. Williams this season has been very poor so far, as the team is really struggling to be relevant regarding F1 performance. The other driver, Nicholas Latifi, is causing accidents very frequently, which is why the majority of the fans want him out of the sport. That would hardly happen because his father is one of the main sponsors Williams has. Regardless, it seems like the team has found the perfect substitute for Russell and Albon. The Thai driver is the only one responsible for the 3 points that the team has gained this season. Although you'd think that 3 points aren't very much to have, it can be a difference between a ranking spot on the table. This would mean bigger prize money at the end of the year, with the difference of around $10 million. However, prior to Melbourne, Albon hasn't been very good for the Williams team either. It's true, he returned after a full season pause, and the car he's racing currently is very different than the one he's used to. He has managed to finish P13 at the season debut, but their biggest problem remains qualifying. Both of the drivers mostly struggled to enter Q2, as they're frequently out in the first 18 minutes of the season. So, before the F1 caravan arrived in Melbourne, nobody expected from Albon or Williams' team to do something that would amaze all F1 fans. However, Albon proved to everyone that he's indeed a talented driver by driving the entirety of the race on one set of hard tires. If it wasn't for the regulations of a mandatory pit stop, Albon would have finished the race on the same tires he started it. This is why he had to change for a medium compound at the last lap, managing not only to finish the race but also score a point for his team. There's one thing that we need to clarify here, and that's the tire compound itself. Albon wouldn't have made it in that long on medium or soft compound tires due to the varied names that these tires have. Hard compound tires means that the tires are made of much harder and more durable compounds than the previous ones. Hard tires identify themselves with a white line, mediums are marked with yellow, and soft are marked with red lines. Hard lines are also costing the driver some lap time, especially on tracks like this where the temperature is scorching hot. However, they provide a longer stay on the track, meaning that you'd have to pit in later for fresher tires and catch up to the caravan much quicker. The hard tire degrades slower due to it taking longer to heat up, meaning that it provides less grip on the track too. Prior to the race, Albon didn't have much hope that he'd make any passes, let alone finish in the points. We looked at our race predictions and we looked a bit sad. It was a race where we took risks because we felt like no matter what we did, we're going to finish 19th or 20th, Albon said. Albon was disqualified from qualifications due to him being unable to provide a fuel sample at the end of the season. Therefore, he started at the back of the grid. The tactic of using harder tires than your opponents when you're starting last isn't new to the F1 world. So, Williams used this with Albon as he had a much bigger window to heat up his tires and see what the race holds for him. Albon was hoping for a safety car deployment, but that happened way too early as Sainz spun into the gravel in the first lap. Some of the drivers had decided to switch to mediums right after the safety car deployment, such as Stroll. This enabled Albon to gain P17 after Vettel had also spun in the gravel. Most of the drivers ahead had also pitted to change their medium tires, as Albon managed to climb to P11 at lap 22. There was some grading process at this time, but it was nothing serious that would cause him to visit the pit lane. After another safety car deployment, Lance Stroll and Valtteri Bottas have pitted for a tire change, and that saw Albon climbing to P10. And be reminded that he hasn't changed his tires yet. After the race restarted, Albon was able to chase the McLaren ahead of him, as he had a much faster pace on much older tires. Here's one fact that will surely catch you off guard. Albon set his personal best time on lap 54, on the tires that he started the race with. That's insane, right? There was another virtual safety car deployment, but Albon still decided to stay out of the pit. As the laps were passing by, Albon was much faster than Lance Stroll, who was the driver behind him. The Canadian driver did a huge favor to Albon as he managed to keep the other drivers behind him on much fresher tires. Gasly and Bottas were able to pass Stroll due to his defensive skills, which only enabled Albon to make excellent progress at the front. By the time he changed tires on the last lap, he had around 20.1 seconds ahead of Zhou. It was a very close call, as the pit stop itself wasn't a perfect one, but Albon drove his mandatory lap on the medium set of tires. With this pit stop, he fulfilled the role of a mandatory pit stop and therefore was eligible for points as he was running in P10. The tactic itself was very hectic and could be easily proclaimed as a Hail Mary one. Albon's engineer himself called it that, as it could have been much worse if it wasn't for the defense of Lance Stroll. But now, when everything is said and done, it seems like Albon has become the new Sergio Perez of F1. Some have gone to the extent to give him the Tires Whisperer nickname, as Chico is recognized for this particular nickname. Nobody could have predicted this kind of finish for Albon or Williams at all. The team was extremely happy to bag the first point of the season. What's more impressive is that Albon has managed to finish P10 in yet another race, this time at the Miami GP. Due to a cons penalty, he was promoted to P9, adding another 2 points to the team's board. One could only wonder, what could Williams do more this season, as it seems like we're in it for a good and interesting one. Only if Latifi could comply with the driving of Albon, everything would look much simpler for Williams. Until then, it's up to us to wait and see how events will transpire in the most successful teams of all time.